I want to point you to something called Your Personal Economy. Now, I ran across a peer of mine's LinkedIn profile, a guy named Justin Bennett out of New York. And he has a little kind of executive summary on the idea of personal economy, that it doesn't matter what it is that the rest of your world looks like, what the world looks like, what does your personal economy look like?
Whoa. Full stop. That is huge. Like I'm just letting this soak in. I hope everyone else listening is as well. Like we talk about the economy, the market overall, but like what does your personal economy look like? That is a huge distinction. Like I can just think of so many implications. We're probably going to have a whole podcast series on this fall, but the inflation is something that gets thrown out there as a metric in the media, and usually consumer price index is used to measure how inflation goes up and down, which I kind of think that CPI is really just the government's way to decide how much they want to raise pensions and employee
Or not.
benefits or not. So it's not really a great measure of overall inflation, but for each of us individually, like the less you consume of all those consumer goods, then the lower your personal economy inflation rate might be. And so, gosh,
I was going to say,
that's amazing.
Our inflation for like podcast production has gone up tremendously in the last year. As you moved to Chicago, and now we have a producer that works on the show, and now we have, and then we have a whole social media team plus our podcast production company we've always had. It is a far higher inflation that we've experienced at Your Business, Your Wealth than the rest of the economy or the rest of our lives. That is a big deal. So it doesn't matter so much. The trade deals.
No.
Somebody else got an IPO.
The rate of the rate of return that anybody else gets really doesn't matter. What matters is the performance of your balance sheet, your strategy, your life, designing what that road needs to be.
Your objectives about the future, your family. What do you want to see happen for your children? It doesn't matter what happens for other people's children.
I was talking to a young guy, early 20s, last night at dinner about retirement account he just started. And he's like, oh, look at this. I just lost $20. I'm like, well, not if you didn't sell it. And let's talk about this. If the market's going down and you're putting money in every month, you're going to start celebrating when you see it go down because you're buying in at a cheaper price. And then his friend said, oh, it's like a BOGO on a stock. And I'm like, yeah, it's like a buy one, get one deal. When the market
I didn't know what
down.
A BOGO was. Thank goodness you explained that. I was like, I'm going to ask for the whole audience.
So for that young person putting money in every month at the beginning of their career, seeing the market go down is something they might celebrate in their personal economy. But for an 80-year-old drawing income from their portfolio, seeing that very same market movement, it's a recession in their personal economy. I love this. Oh,
yeah.
And you better move on from personal economy. So I'm just going to take the whole episode with that.
You go ahead and take it.
So, but what does matter is what we need to really focus on in this, right? Your objectives on the future, your family, your health, because without your health, not a lot else matters in the personal economy.
Your business and career.
Right.
Yep. And
the amount
frankly,
of money you save or add to assets each year.
Yeah, that the amount of money you put aside toward assets, we say it a lot. We cannot say it enough in a society that ignores it. The most important thing that you will do is set money aside. Now, I had a conversation with a guy who was I think when I met him, he was 68 years old. He had literally been all the way back to stock jockey days. Like he was an advisor now, but he was a guy, this is 15 years ago. So he started in the business from where we are today, 55 years ago in his 20s.
Wow.
And I was brought in to give him a different look at his finances because there was some estate planning concerns and our whole macroeconomic model made a big difference. And he thought he'd been focusing on rate of return and hadn't looked at the entire picture. And so I was brought in to consult on the entire picture. And when I was, And I was asking him some questions about where his finances were, et cetera. And I said, can I ask you, you've been involved in literally being the guy that brought the company to the brokerage to go public. Like, he had been involved in some really big deals, had the chance to be in some IPOs. And I said, can I ask you, when it's all said and done, you're now worth like $9 million. What do you think is attributable to the level of success you've had that you now have a nearly 8-figure balance sheet? Was it rate of return because of the great stock picking that you did? Remember, he's a stock picker. Or savings rate. And almost before I could say savings rate, he just cut me off. It was the amount of money I saved. Not in a mean way, but that's how clear he was. And I cannot say enough about the money that you all set aside to assets is the biggest amount of agency and the greatest control you have in your entire life.